Did you serve in Afghanistan?
Yes, I did.
How many tours?
One.
What year were you there? What years?
2002, 2003.
Wow. So you served right at the beginning.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Tough. I don't like talking about my military experience. Not that we've said too much. I really don't like to divulge a lot of things about the military.
There's Jayar Majewski. He's a congressional candidate up there in Ohio, of course, a Republican. He's talking about his military background when he served in Afghanistan. He just doesn't want to talk about it. He just wants you to know he's a badass. Something doesn't seem right. Yeah, I'm a skeptic. Let's see if he can continue on, and maybe he can convince me that this isn't a lie.
There was a tough time in life. The military wasn't easy, but in retrospect, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And, I'd do it all over again. But, out of respect of many things, my answer to most people when they ask about my military service is, I served honorably, and I fought for this country for a lot of months over in the Middle East, and so did a lot of people that went with me. And, when I see all these things that are going on today, I mean, if I could put my BDUs back on, if I wasn't so chubby, I'd probably try to find a way to do it.
I'd slap that extra medium shirt back on and be right back out there. So he also, by the way, tweeted this at one point, just to solidify what he's letting everyone think. He says, I'm a veteran of OEF. I'd gladly suit up and go back to Afghanistan tonight and give my best to save those Americans who were abandoned. Why isn't our president all in? Of course, he's around the time when we pulled out of Afghanistan, so he'd go right back in if he could just do so. There was a bunch of rogue folks who went back in. Here's some reality from the AP. Republican Jayar Majewski presents himself as an Air Force combat veteran who deployed to Afghanistan after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, once describing tough conditions, including a lack of running water that forced him to go more than 40 days without a shower. This guy is amazing. Military documents obtained by the Associated Press through a public records request tell a different story, though. They indicate that Majewski never deployed to Afghanistan, but instead completed a 6-month stint helping to load planes at an airbase in Qatar, a longtime US ally that is a safe distance from the fighting. Now, by the way, pause. I understand he did serve. He did some for the country. He was assigned somewhere and he did his job. Thank you for your service. Just talk about what you did. That's all. It's okay. You served the country. You just didn't go to Afghanistan and starve yourself for 40 days and wallow through the mud. More, because rather than deploying to Afghanistan, as he claimed, the records state that Majewski was based in Kadena Air Base in Japan for much of his active duty service. He later deployed for 6 months to Qatar in May of 2002, where he helped load and unload those planes while serving as a quote passenger operations specialist. His account of his time in the military is just one aspect of his biography that is also suspect. His post-military career has been defined by exaggerations, conspiracy theories, talk of violent action against the US government, and occasional financial duress. The National Republican Congressional Committee has cut him off. What exactly does that mean for politicians? It means the money is not there anymore. And in fact, this one really stings. Here's some details. The National Republican Congressional Committee booked $960,000, Francesca, in the Toledo, Ohio market to help boost Majewski. It cut that by entirely on Thursday, and that's according to 2 sources familiar with the committee's media purchasing. Representative Marcy Kaptur, one of the longest serving women in the House, was redrawn into a district that President Donald Trump would have carried narrowly, making her one of the most vulnerable Democratic incumbents. Now, national Republicans, at the beginning, they were not initially enthused about his primary win. Now, Majewski did win over those other candidates because he's closely aligned with the MAGA wing of the party, and he gained fame for painting his lawn there, as you saw on Fox News, into a Trump shrine. But still, they booked TV time in that district, and they were set to begin airing these ads and really pump him up and make sure he's all good going into next week. Now, also House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, he traveled to the district to campaign with them over the summer. They went all in after they were a little worried about his candidacy because he's a little bit off the rails. But now that this whole thing has come out with the fake Afghanistan stories, I guess these are phishing stories in Afghanistan, they're like, we're done with this guy. we're finished with him. So damn near $1 million has been cut from him. And now they're like, we've finally fully given up on this guy.